Kishani Gaming Nation in the building to review a movie to remove not a movie, a series on Netflix. And I want to expose something. The attack on black masculinity, straight black masculinity, is still very real. It's not as it's not as explosive as it was in the 80s and the 90s, but it's still very much there. Um, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a Netflix series called Obliterated. And in Obliterated, they basically had wokeism, LGBTism, and all that other stuff there. And it takes place in Vegas. Now, in the series, it was this tactical team, and their job was to run around Vegas, or I don't want to say run around. Job was to basically go around Vegas and I guess go around the world and stop threats from happening. And in Vegas, there was a tactical nuke that was going to go off. And their job was to go in there and stop the nuke. Now, what's the hidden agenda, or not hidden agenda, the disrespect against black masculinity or straight black men, or that's hidden behind wokeism, or hidden behind, this new age of all inclusiveness and again wokeism or LGBTism. Here it is. There was two alphas on that series, a Chad and a Tyrone. Two alphas. The Chad, who was white, was typically a white alpha. Even though they were attaching that emotional intelligence thing to him, he was able to go around in that show and still be able to, fornicate with the women that was on the show. He fornicated with the leader of that task force or that tactical group, who was a chick. But to Tyrone, they made him gay or LGBT. What's my issue with that? The way that Tyrone looked, the Tyrone is supposed to be the alpha male of the black community, or at least the street nigga, or the street ninja, my bad. The street ninja of the black community, the Tyrone. Now, even though I have an issue with that Tyrone, and I have to change that about myself too, is that not every black dude you see that's diesel and brawling is a hood nigga. Not every black dude you see is a Tyrone. But I'm just using the character because that was the character that played on that show. But they made the Tyrone gay. You say, what issue do you have with this? My issue is that you took an alpha male of the black community, or one of the alpha male characters of the black community, and you made him gay. And the gay black men are 1% of the black male population. That character on that movie on that series you got to play as a Tyrone, represents the straight black men of the black community, or one of the straight black men of the black community. Why did they write that character, who was an alpha male, to be gay, but they allowed the Chad to be straight, even though he was, they wanted to attach that whole emotional intelligence and he needs to have feelings and all that other stuff to him, which is another topic. But this topic, we talk about the Tyrone character. And because myself as a so-called black male, I have to fight for my image. And throughout the black community, well, I would say black men, we've been fighting to change or do away with the images that have been casted upon black men for the past 60 years since the inception of Hollywood. Well, not since the inception of Hollywood, but since we've been there in Hollywood. Because the images that they project about black men is these extreme images, like the Pookie, or the Tyrone, or the educated lame, or with Color Purple, this black guy that's, somehow, whooping black women's ass and then selling them off to another dude like they're on a plantation. Like, what the hell is that? But this topic with the Tyrone, and there was another scene on that series where he was going to be tortured, and a white, I think French dude, or white Russian dude, I don't know what his nationality was. He was a crazy person. He was going to take a metal rod and stick it up to Tyrone's BBC, and there was going to be a button he pressed that when he pressed it would basically chop off his BBC. And the scene prior or before that, there was a scene where there was this Russian white chick that was on the series, right? The Russian white chick and the Tyrone, they had got captured. Remember, this is a tactical force, a task force. They had got captured and they were stuck in a sauna, right? They got captured and got put in a sauna. The Tyrone, he was knocked out. He was asleep. The white Russian chick, she was awake, but she was naked. She had no bra on. I think she had panties on, but she had no bra on. She was naked, basically. The Tyrone wakes up, see her naked there, but because his character is gay, he didn't have no interest. So they had nothing to really fear about. I wonder if that's why they made him gay. Because if he was a straight Tyrone, and her and that white Russian Becky was in there, they would have probably had a writer scene where they smashed. And that's probably why they made that scene in that scene that after that scene where dude was gonna stick that metal rod up his BBC and press that button and cut his dick off. Or his Johnson off. My bad, YouTube. Why is it in 2023 that the representation of a black male is that? With all the intelligent writing in Hollywood or Netflix, why would you write that about the black male image after you know that the black man is trying to fight for his image? Liberals, woke people, LGBTism. Why do you do that? Like I said, the LGBT of the black male population is only 1%. The character you put on there to play the Tyrone, that's the alpha male of the black community, or one of the alpha males of the black community. Why would you write that? You could have wrote, because the child, he had a love interest, which was the chick that was on the squad that was leading the task force. You could have wrote a similar thing for the Tyrone. You could have made him a black woman as his love interest, a straight black woman that wasn't loud or obnoxious. That was his love interest. You put a black chick that was a so-called black Russian on there. You could have wrote that the Tyrone was, running around fucking all the hoes, smashing all the hoes. My bad, YouTube, for cussing. Sorry, smashing on all the hoes, just like the child was. Or on the my bad. Damn. I'm sorry. I ain't used to record on YouTube. This is my third video, but I'll get better. How Netflix? You could have wrote a better storyline for that Tyrone to actually fit the Tyrone. You wrote something to fit the child. Why did you make that for the Tyrone? You could have wrote in that scene that he was getting tortured. You could have wrote him getting tortured any other way, but you chose to write that and think we wasn't gonna see it, or I wasn't gonna see it. I think I'm the only Negro, so-called Negro in the black community that see these things. Well, I think besides Angry Man or maybe Tommy Sotomayor or any of the OGs in the space. But you really put that image in that series. Why? Why in 2023? Years after the original intent for Hollywood when it comes to black men is to mess with our image, why that one? Any storyline you could have wrote. Any other, if you wanted to put a gay black male in that series, you could have used a different look. Why make the